What up? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And look at you. You done stumbled upon little OTB Saints, where we bring you all the latest black and gold coverage.
Who are the Saints going to draft? Who's going to be their quarterback? What does the salary cap look like? All that information and more.
Hope you enjoy it. Like, subscribe. Yesterday, Marshon Lattimore traded to the Washington Commanders. So it begins, right? The kind of rebuild of the New Orleans Saints. It's a good deal for the Saints. You give up Lattimore and a 5th-round pick. You get a 3rd, a 4th, and a 6th. I think, what did Jalen Ramsey go for? Like a 3rd back in the day, wasn't it? Or maybe what he was being bandied about. That feels like a good deal for where Lattimore's at in his career right now.
Yeah.
The question becomes, though, you're amassing draft capital. Good. We love to see that. But do you trust Mickey Loomis? Because to me, the immediate joke that my head starts to write, Jake, when I see that is good. Those are just more picks for Loomis to bundle, to trade up and draft a small school defensive end with not a lot of statistical production, but with high athletic upside.
Yeah.
Right? And so, again, it's a joke, but that is immediately where my head goes because there's a lack of trust about Mickey Loomis. And to me, as untouchable as he is playing with fire. He's in a precarious spot. Again, if you kind of want to, I won't even view it through that lens. He's in a precarious spot. The rage of the people is starting to coalesce on Mickey Loomis. And the problem is he continues to show no contrition. In fact, it does echo some of the political sentiment you're seeing where Mickey Loomis is kind of getting up there and saying, no, my plan was good. That was not the problem. Everything else was the problem. Bad luck was the problem, right? He went on WWL with my old man yesterday and again doubled down on Dennis Allen being a really good coach. And the only reason why things didn't work out was because of injuries. And yes, injuries are a huge part of it. Right? I'm not saying that. But it's exactly what we said a few weeks ago. The fear that this multitude of injuries would be used as an excuse to ignore the laundry list of other problems. Awful drafting, especially with your most important top picks. Continuing to trade up multiple times every draft and lessen your margin of error when it comes to drafting. A cap strategy that was very good and forward thinking for a while in terms of extending a window, but extended way too long past when it should have been. A coach with a clear disconnect in the locker room. A coach who at no point in his head coaching career has ever proven to be a winner. Did y'all talk about the stat on Sunday from the Saints game? The Saints managed to lose in a way that no team has ever lost before.
Yeah, 275-0 to that point, yeah.
270. And here's another one that I found. And there's a few different ones like this, right? 425 yards of offense, gave up less than 250, didn't turn it over. Since 1950, teams were 138-0. So you were the first to lose in 74 years and 138 tries, but you still think the plan and the team you put in place works. And so how can we believe that Mickey Loomis is going to get better when you can't even admit what went wrong? Isn't that the key to self-improvement? Being able to look in the mirror and say, what did I do to cause us to get here? Not to point fingers, say, no, it wasn't me. It was everything else that went wrong around me. The plan was still good. And if you'll allow me some extended runway here to continue to rant, who knows their Roman history? Okay, the first Roman triumvirate, Pompey, Caesar, and Crassus.
Yeah.
Pompey, the old great general, right? A man beloved by the people, had a ton of military glory and success. Caesar, the young up-and-comer, also a man with a ton of military success. Crassus, what was his role in the triumvirate? He was the slumlord, the money man. And I said it a few years ago, and I don't know why it randomly popped into my head again this morning, but you can think about Drew Brees and Sean Payton and Mickey Loomis as the Saints Triumvirate. And in this case, Payton would kind of be your Pompey, Brees would be your Caesar, and Loomis, the money man, would be your Crassus. And just like that first triumph of Rome, they combined to do some incredible things, but they're all prideful. They all laid their head down at night, and they all thought, look, I'm actually the best man. I'm the man most responsible for success. And when Breeze and Peyton left, we said it was Mickey Loomis's chance to prove himself, right? Yeah, these other guys were great, but maybe Loomis's deals and drafts and the shadows and cap management played a bigger role than we originally knew, right? So what happened to Crassus? Okay, I'm actually reading a great new Adrian Goldsworthy book about Rome and Persia that goes into this in detail. But Crassus, he was a man who had all the money, but had no military glory. He was actually an old school slumlord. This is pretty fascinating, Jake. He had his own fire brigade. And so when a fire would break out in Rome, the buildings that would be in the path of the fire, he would basically bend those people over with super lowball offers and saying, look, you have to give me this building right now because it's going to burn down. You're going to get nothing, or you can take this. As soon as they took the deal, he would then create a fire break, shut it down. He would rebuild the buildings that got destroyed, and then all of a sudden, everybody's paying rent to him. He had all the money, but he had no military glory. He was not beloved by the people. And yeah, he played a big role in stopping Spartacus, but that's different than foreign glory. He wanted that foreign glory. He wanted to prove himself. So what did he do? Finally, Caesar, Pompey, whatever, guys, I'm going to go east. I'm going to prove that I'm the man. And he went and he fought the Parthians. And do you know what happened to him? His army got obliterated and his head got chopped off in the middle of the desert. And he died alone in the desert, a man who had everything because he was so prideful and so desperate for glory. Loomis is Crassus, a man who is desperate to prove he's the real key behind the Saints' success, and a man who is failing mightily. A man who is blind to all of his shortcomings because he surrounded himself with more talented people, masking his mistakes and teaching him all the wrong lessons. A man who still believes he is and was right about Dennis Allen despite an avalanche of objective evidence to the opposite. If that is not pride to a fault, I don't know what is. So I like the Marshon Lattimore trade. I have no illusions that it will be used correctly. And I don't know how long or if he can. I don't know how Mickey Loomis changes this because it's looking like it's going to be a couple of rough years. And this noise is only going to continue to get louder and louder and louder. I mean, I think you could argue there's potentially not a more important draft in the modern era of the Saints than the one coming up. They have to hit. They have to find, Jake, some beacons of hope for people to latch on to. Otherwise, this noise will continue to grow, and we will really put to the test just how untouchable Mickey Loomis really is.
Yeah, if you want to mess around and find out, you go keep Derek Carr. Don't draft a quarterback in the first round and go take, a edge rusher from Houston Christian. Like, go do that and see how that turns out for you.
Yeah.
Because you've always thought that you were the smartest guy in the room with all of your actions. And look, there's been times where you were successful. Like, I don't want to hate on the entire tenure, but over the last 5 years, right, a lot of things have come to light. And it has not been any good. And so you have a chance, and you traded an asset to get assets. Okay, you have a chance to fix some things. And you're going to be a roster that needs your rookies to hit because of your cap situation. So you're going to need to have one of those drafts where you get 3 starters from that draft. And it's going to be your opportunity, and you're going to get that opportunity. Now, other GMs, if they had the history that you had over the last 5 years, they would not get that opportunity. In fact, you probably would have left when Dennis Allen left because a lot of that was you. But we all know kind of what the hierarchy of the Saints front office looks like and ownership. So you're going to get that chance. He can't continue on if he screws this one up because you trade one of your starters, one of your star players for draft choices. You are going to be so bad that you get a top draft choice. Find the quarterback that you love. And look, I know that people are listening to Mel Kiper and others, and there's not a quarterback I love. There's going to be a quarterback. There's going to be a quarterback that I think is worth where you're going to be selecting, and you have to turn the page on what you've tried to do. The glue is not sticky anymore. The duct tape is gone, and that's what you tried to do. You have a chance, like you said, to move forward and move on and do it in a way in which you can be more competitive next year if you do it the right way.
And again, what evidence do we have to believe that the Saints will be capable of accomplishing that under Mickey Loomis? Because from where I sit, you look at the glory years, the 15 years of glory you had in the Peyton Breeze era. And even there, you see maybe Loomis a little upset. Why is it called the Peyton Breeze era? I'm the GM. I'm the guy that brought these guys in, right? But, I mean, I think we can all clearly see that first and foremost, quarterback's the most important. Tom Brady, Drew Brees, whatever, Peyton Manning, these guys were the real keys behind the respective runs that they all went on with their franchises. Now, Sean Payton, his impact is still undeniable, right? The Saints got worse without Peyton, and we'll see where his time with the Broncos goes. You know, their cap's bad. They're doing okay. Maybe he ends up proving to be quite good himself, but he's still not as impactful as having Drew Brees, right? Like you even saw what happened to Sean Payton teams without Drew Brees. They were still winning, but it was all much harder, and quite frankly, it exhausted him to the point where he wanted to get out and go start fresh somewhere new. You have no reason to believe that Mickey Loomis is capable of doing this again. Right now, it feels like someone who, through a series of factors such as Nick Saban not wanting Drew Brees, et cetera, through a series of factors that got lucky. And it played out very well. But can he recreate that luck? I don't know. I don't see anything on the resume that tells me that he can.
You know, one thing, and maybe throughout today I can kind of put it together, we don't talk enough about the guys that were coming up for free agency in New Orleans, and Mickey Loomis allowed them to go elsewhere, and they became stars.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that enough. The guys that he chose to keep in New Orleans, the ones he allowed to go walk, and now those are the players that are still thriving, getting new contracts with their new teams when your guys are aging and out of the league. Like there's a handful of players, and I'll do it during the show. Maybe I can have it by the second hour here, of just guys that are thriving right now that you just kind of like, we got our 4 years out of him. He's done. We're not giving him money. Are you kidding me? We're going to give this guy money.
And they've made the wrong choice.
Almost every time.
And time again. And they've drafted poorly. And it's why you've created a roster that is so brittle. And you chose a coach that, for whatever reason, I don't know completely why, right? But the stats on Dennis Allen, remember, like, the Saints were the only team over the past 2 years or whatever that had a positive point differential, but still a losing record.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it is. The guy just finds ways to lose. And yet you still continue to sit here and say, no, he was the right choice. So how can I expect things to get better when you can't even admit what went wrong? Wow, just amazing black and gold takes right there, Jake.
I don't think I've ever heard any takes that are better than the two guys that just gave you that take.
And you can keep getting them by going ahead and liking, subscribing, ringing the bell to get notifications when we post. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next OTB Saints.